Hey guys, it's Mario Bro Gaming here. Today we are watching Albert Einstein MSA. So yeah, I guess. Yeah.
March 14th, 1879, an unusual baby was born to a family in Ulm, Germany. For starters, he had an unusually big head. It's a little larger than normal, but he looks fine to me.
Are you blind? It's huge. Oh, what if he's broken? What if he's never able to speak or think any intelligent thoughts?
The baby's mom really couldn't have been more wrong. Hi, I'm Albert Einstein, and this is my story. Ever since I could remember, my parents told me I was, well, different. For starters, I hated playing with other kids and always preferred to be alone. I also didn't speak until I was 4 years old. Then, when I did speak, people would act as if I'd said something strange. Like one time, Mom invited her friend over for lunch, and I had an important question for her. Your arms are so thin, your skin is almost see-through, but for some reason I can't see your bones, only the color of your veins.
Get your hands off me! Does your son have no manners?
Wait, I'm just curious. I wonder what would happen if I lit a candle and shone it close to you. Do you think I'd see anything beneath your skin?
You're not making any sense, Albert, and you're being rude. Sometimes I worry there's something wrong with him.
Mom sent me to my room then, and I didn't understand what I did wrong. I just asked a question. And as time passed, I really started getting into trouble. One day, when I was 15, I was in class and I was bored to death. And when my teacher, Mr. Windsor, asked us to work in pairs, I just snapped. So we have to solve. I'm not doing this. School is dumb and I'm not letting any teacher tell me what to do. But we have to do what the teacher says. No, I've got a better idea. I convinced the guy to steal Mr. Windsor's notes and bag when he wasn't looking and sneaked out of the classroom. We ran away from school to a nearby river where I tossed my teacher's notes. This'll teach him not to make us memorize stuff until our brain hurts. Throwing those notes away felt so freeing, but my happiness didn't last for long. Mom, Dad, our principal, and the police found us, and we were toast. Albert's behavior is completely unacceptable. This has gone on too long. He pulls pranks on teachers, never pays attention in class, and now he's stealing. This is the last straw, young man. I got suspended for a week, but when I got back to school, things took a wild turn. I was sitting in class when Mr. Windsor called to the chalkboard to solve a math problem. All right, Mr. Einstein, I have an equation that even you can't mess up. All you have to do is figure out. The answer is 9.27001 over 16. Mr. Windsor looked like he was having a stroke, and all the kids started whispering. Oh God, what had I done now? Mr. Windsor grabbed his calculator and asked me again what the answer was and how I'd gotten it because, well, it was correct. I don't know, it just popped into my head. Mr. Windsor pulled me aside after class. I completely misjudged you. Young man, you have a gifted mind. This makes so much sense. All of this is too easy for you. You're probably bored to death. I'll move you up to an advanced class and we'll give you more difficult tests. You must develop this talent. Suddenly, something inside me burst. No, I don't want to do any of that. I can't take this anymore. I know you mean well, but I can't go on like this. I quit school. I'll teach myself all this stuff. That week, I dropped out of school and my parents were horrified. I was sure they thought I was a lost cause or crazy or both. So when I was 17, I left home and went straight to university for physics. It was time to put myself and my dreams first, no matter what anyone thought. On my first day, I was walking down the hallway when I ran into a group of guys pointing and laughing at something. Hey, what's going on? See that girl over there? She's in our class. I didn't know our university allowed chicks to even walk in here. Hey, princess, why don't you go back home to cook me dinner? I'll have potatoes with extra sausage. What a jerk. Before the boy could finish, I walked over to the girl. I know those guys are acting like pigs, but at the end of the day, they don't matter. When you look at the universe, you realize how small and unimportant each one of us is. This book talks about how the earth is like the size of a... Suddenly, the girl smacked the book out of my hand.
You have no idea what I'm going through. As if some dumb book will make me feel better about the fact that everyone's treating me like a freak.
The girl stormed off and I felt bad. I found later that her name was Mileva, and the boys just wouldn't leave her alone. One morning, I saw Mileva studying in the library, and for some reason, I felt like sitting next to her. Need any help with your schoolwork?
Ugh, you again? You're everywhere. You're not following me, are you?
No, but for some reason, we keep running into each other. I also think we're a lot alike. People treat me like I'm a weirdo too, but I'm actually pretty cool and really smart.
And modest. If you're so smart, how come I'm ahead of you on the honors roll?
What was she talking about? I'd been number 1 in our class all semester, but Mileva led me to the school bulletin board, and she was the top of our class instead of me.
Congratulations, genius. You finally found someone smarter than you.
Mileva smirked at me and walked off, and I couldn't help feeling annoyed. But after that day, something changed between us. She invited me to do homework with her every day after school, and even asked our professor if we could be lab partners. She still teased me non-stop, but I just knew she didn't hate me as much as she pretended. Then one day, I got a letter from Dad saying Mom was sick and asked me to come home as soon as possible. And to my shock, Mileva said she'd come with me.
I know we have finals, but you shouldn't have to deal with this alone. I'll get on the next train with you.
Mileva hugged me, and I felt my heart race. When I arrived home, I went straight up to Mom's room, and she was happy to see me, especially with a girl. But Dad was furious. Albert, this is a family matter. Why did you bring this strange girl to the house all of a sudden? Dad, you don't have to be rude. She just came along for support. Well, whoever you are, you're wasting your time on my son because he's a nutcase who only ever thinks of himself. Wow. Now I remember why leaving home was the best decision ever. Tears stung my eyes as I stomped out of the room into the yard. Mileva followed me.
Albert, this was my fault. I shouldn't have invited myself to come with you. I just wanted to be there for you. I never wanted to cause any problems.
Are you kidding? You've been amazing. It's my dad who's acting like a jerk. But he is right about one thing. I do have issues, and you shouldn't waste your time on me.
Listen, I know I give you a tough time, but the truth is, you're the most brilliant and interesting guy I've ever met, and I want to take a chance on you.
Suddenly, Mileva leaned in and kissed me, and it felt like all the light in the universe filled in the space between us. After that, Mileva and I started dating, and I was on cloud 9 for the next 10 months. Then one morning, our professor called us to his desk, but Mileva wasn't in class. I didn't know why she hadn't come that day. Well, it's a shame she's not here. I have a rare opportunity. It's a research position at one of the most prestigious programs in the world, but only one of you can go. You both are equally gifted students, so I thought I should tell you both and you can decide between yourselves. I was speechless. What was I supposed to do? I told the professor I talked to Mileva, but he needed an answer right away. And so I decided to take the position. After school, I went over to Mileva's house with knots in my stomach. It turned out she was sick with a cold, and when I told her what happened, she was dead silent.
And you took the position? Just like that?
Mileva, I'm so sorry. I know a position like this would have been your dream too, but I wasn't given a chance to talk to you. I didn't have time.
Don't worry about it, Albert. I understand.
Mileva pulled me close, even though she was sick. We got married a year later and had children. We were happy, and I was thriving at my new research position, writing theses and making all kinds of discoveries in theoretical physics. But something had changed in my relationship with Mileva. There was something wrong between us, and I didn't know how to go about it. One night, I came home from work when I saw Mileva looking at me furious.
Where have you been, Albert?
I was at the university. I had to work an hour late. I'm sorry.
Well, you're never home, and I'm sick of it. You're off being a big-shot scientist, while I'm over here changing diapers.
I'm also off bringing home money for our family, and I always help you with everything when I get home. Mileva, do you want me to quit my job? What can I do differently? Mileva just fell silent. It was so obvious she was jealous of my success, and I didn't know how to help her. I tried taking her to the lab with me and watching the kids more, and even tried including Mileva in my research. But one day, Mileva dropped a bombshell on me.
I love you, Albert, but I can't do this. I'm not happy with you anymore. I want a divorce.
But why? Are you just going to resent me forever? I thought you wanted me to follow my dreams, and I'm not stopping you from following yours.
You stopped me the moment you took that job opportunity in university. I know it's in the past, and I don't want to keep resenting you. I want to remember why I fell in love with you and always see you that way. You're brilliant, Albert, and we shouldn't hold each other back anymore.
I pulled Mileva close as tears filled my eyes. That following month, we filed for divorce, and just like that, everything changed, and I didn't know what would happen next. One night, I was on the train and trying to fall asleep, but this girl kept walking up and down the aisles and singing loudly while she tossed a ball up and down. Hey, kid, can you quiet down? Some of us are trying to sleep.
You're not my dad, so you can't tell me what to do.
Well, lucky for the both of us, this is my stop. I stormed off the train, grateful to get away from that brat. But as the train rode away, I saw something strange. The girl was still tossing the ball up and down, but it looked like it was moving faster and faster. And suddenly, the wheels in my mind were racing like crazy. Time moved faster when I was off the train. That was why the ball looked like it was moving slower when I was on the train. The next few months, I continued doing research, and to my amazement, my theory of relativity was proved correct. I won the Nobel Prize for Physics that year, and after that, it seemed like everyone wanted to hear what I had to say. How does it feel to make this groundbreaking discovery, Mr. Einstein? This is a historic moment, and you're a legend. I was on the front cover of every newspaper that week, and I folded a picture and sent it in an envelope to someone special, along with a letter. Dear Mileva, I finally did it. I found answers to all those questions I've been asking myself all these years about time and space and the universe. I want you to know that I couldn't have done it without you. I'm in a good place now. I'm married to an amazing woman and, well, I had my dreams come true. Even though things didn't work out between us, I never look back at the time we had with regret. I hope you're happier now. I hope you're still curious about the world and that you learn something new about it each day. Remember me like this always, and thank you for believing in me. Yours truly, Albert Einstein.
That kind of felt like a real movie. Should we watch another? In the comments, it's just hi.
Looking for an easy way to run Windows on Mac? Say hello to Parallels Desktop.
Hi, I'm Sophie from France, and my story, you'll have to see to believe. My life was brilliant. I grew up in a vineyard, and my parents worked super hard to make it a worldwide success. Even though they were super busy, they made sure I got the best things in life. I've just bought you a pony. You can take him out on rides around the property. Do you want to get a puppy too? We were super rich, but I didn't care about that. I was homeschooled to take over the family business, but I spent most of my time going on adventures with my best friend Luke. He was the son of our surveyor, Mr. Duran, and a major scaredy cat, but he never said no to my crazy plans, even when they landed us in trouble. Come on, Luke. Let's go to the lake and search for sea monsters. Are you crazy? We'll catch a cold, and besides, it's against the rules. Rules schmools. If there was a rule against sneezing, your head would explode from keeping them in. And you'd pick your nose just to tick people off. No, we're not going to the lake, and that's final. But I never took no for an answer. So I jumped over the fence and went running towards the lake. And poor Luke had to follow. But I stopped short when I saw a couple of village boys throwing rocks at a beehive. Hey, leave those poor bees alone. What's it to you, princess? Go back to your stupid grape juice farm. Sophie, we need to head back now. No, you should go back to school and learn how important bees are for the environment. What, Luke? Those aren't bees, Sophie. They're hornets. Just then, a rock tore through the nest, and all the hornets flew out, and they were pissed. But instead of going after the village brats, they attacked Luke and me. We ran for our lives, but we got stung so much that by the time we got home, our faces resembled beach balls, and it hurt. And Luke went ballistic. I told you we shouldn't go. You never listen to me. I'm sick and tired of being your babysitter. Babysitter? This thing's really messed with your head. I'm your friend. Friends listen to each other. You're not my friend. Your parents hired me to keep you out of trouble. Luke, stop it. We're honored to serve in any capacity. You might be, but I'm not. She's a reckless maniac. I'm sick of getting hurt because of her. I quit. Mom, what's going on?
Sweetie, you're an adventurer, and we didn't want to hold you back. And Luke was the perfect balance to your hyper-personality. So, we paid him to keep you safe. We were only doing what was best for you.
You think this is best for me? My entire relationship was a lie. What else have you been lying about? Are you two even my parents or is someone paying you too? I stormed off to my room and didn't speak to anyone for days. Luke left for the city without saying goodbye, and I felt humiliated that I was such a loser. No one would be my friend if I wasn't rich. Mom and Dad arranged playdates with other kids, but it wasn't the same. Every day I missed Luke, and every day I hated him more. But things at the vineyard got worse. Our wine sales went down, and then a freak storm destroyed more than half the vineyard. We had nothing left, and the bank seized the family estate. Suddenly, we were homeless.
Don't worry, darling. As long as we're together, we'll be fine. The Durans have invited us to stay with them for a while.
Stay with Luke? But he hates us.
Beggars can't be choosers, love. And it's been years. I'm sure he's over all that. It'll be cramped in their small house, but it's temporary.
But my jaw nearly fell to the floor when I saw their house. It was a mansion with fountains in the garden. Mr. and Mrs. Durand had made a fortune by making the right investments and were super nice. But Luke, I had to blink hard because I couldn't believe how handsome he'd become. His eyes were still as green as I remembered, and the small dimple still appeared near his lips when he smiled. Suddenly, he reached out and touched my hair.
You've still got bugs in your hair.
Oh, thanks. I didn't know it was there. I guess I'm a real bug magnet.
Yeah, you always did attract the creepy crawlers.
That was weird, but at least he wasn't angry or rude. After lunch, I was strolling around trying to let out a quiet burp when suddenly I slipped and fell in the pool. Strong arms pulled me out of the water, and I was face to face with Luke. And to my complete humiliation, I burped in his face like a bullfrog.
I thought you had changed, but I still have to save you from yourself. And I'm sick of it.
Hey, it was an accident.
Once a troublemaker, always a troublemaker. Mom, you better hide the good plates or she'll break them in a freak accident. Luke, that's enough. Whatever. I have homework to do anyway.
Mr. and Mrs. Durand apologized for Luke's behavior, but I didn't want to be a burden. I spent the night thinking of several business plans to get us back on our feet, but we just didn't have the money. A week later, I was waiting at the bus stop when suddenly a sports car raced by me, drenching me with muddy water. Hey, watch where you're going. I am so sorry. I didn't see you there. You're headed to school, right? Let me give you a ride and we can get you cleaned up. My name is Bella, and I'm kind of a big deal there. You should stick with me because you're obviously new, and don't mind me saying so, but you look like you got dressed in the dark. I just moved here from the village. OMG! Love that for you. I've always been a city girl. Last year when we went to my family's, Bella talked non-stop till we got to the school, and by the time we were sitting in first period, I knew her entire life story. She was an only child, her mom and dad were rich politicians, and she loved corgis. They have the cutest, slappable butts. I've wanted one for so long, but my parents say I'm too irresponsible, and my boyfriend is super scared of dogs, and OMG, there he is! Babe, come meet my new bestie! Oh wait, I totally forgot to ask your name. It's
Sophie?
Whoa, did you just read her mind, Luke? I didn't know you had super normal powers.
No, I know her. She's the family friend I told you about. The reckless one.
Even turtles look reckless to a chicken like you. Guys, do you know what this means? We can be besties together. Bella was the sweetest girl imaginable. She didn't care whether I was rich or poor. She just liked me for me and took me everywhere with her, even on dates. Oh, wow, babe, this is such a cute bracelet. But you know I'm allergic to pink. But it looks so cute on you, Sophie. OMG, you should totally have it. Bella, you're crazy. Luke got this for you.
I don't mind.
See? Our boyfriend doesn't mind. Put it on her, Luke. Our boyfriend? What was going on? My skin tingled as his fingers touched my skin, and Luke stared into my eyes. He was oddly sweet when we weren't at home. And rather than get jealous, Bella clapped and cheered. They were the weirdest couple I'd ever met. But Bella thought I was the weird one. What do you mean you've never read Shakespeare? I was only taught things that would help me run a vineyard. Like, that is Holyrood and will help you with fevers. And that thing you're taking a selfie with is poison ivy. Yikes! Hey, you should make TikToks. OMG, this is the best idea I've ever had. We can go on nature walks, and you can talk about what's poisonous and what isn't. Incredibly, Bella's idea was a hit. I went viral, and people in school started calling me Nature Girl. I even started getting sponsors, and one day, my fans challenged me to participate in Mr. Beast's Squid Game. The contest was tough, and as expected, many people joined the fight. I did my best to win the game, but I lost during the tug of war. Still, it was the best adventure I had ever done. I made tons of new friends as well. Not to mention, seeing Mr. Beast personally is the coolest. My heart jumped when I saw him heading my way.
Hi there. Thank you for joining our version of Squid Game. You were great.
Thank you, Mr. Beast. We all had a blast, even though we lost. Just being part of your content alone is an experience of a lifetime.
Well, making people happy is what my content is all about. I'm glad you had fun.
I really did, and it's been quite a long while since I had fun like this.
Really? Why is that?
Well, sometimes life could get rough all of a sudden. Things happen without warning.
That is so true, but no matter what, never stop walking the road to happiness. Never forget the quote, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step."
I felt my eyes sting as Mr. Beast gave me a hug. And just like what Mr. Beast said, I never stopped walking the road to happiness. I kept on seeking adventure, teaching my fans about plants through TikTok. Bella supported me 100%. Eventually, the money I got from my sponsors were used to set up a small grocery shop in the city. And little by little, we were saving up to move out. Life was getting better, but Luke's behavior at home was getting worse and worse. He was rude to his parents and ignored them all the time. One time, Mrs. Durand asked them to pass the bread, and he accidentally dumped them all on the floor. What is wrong with you? That's no way to behave with your parents.
You have no idea what you're talking about. Stay out of it, please.
This isn't you, Luke. You used to be so sweet and caring, even if you were pretending. His eyes softened, but then he shook his head and pushed past me.
I'm not the boy you used to know.
It's okay, Sophie. It's just a phase. I didn't get what his problem was. He had everything he could ever want. Loving parents, a roof over his head, and a great girlfriend. But things with Luke and Bella were getting weirder. The old feelings were coming back and made me nervous. So when Dad announced we'd be moving to our own apartment at the end of the month, I was relieved, but also bittersweet. Late one night, I was packing up my things for the move when I heard footsteps on the roof. I freaked out and picked up a baseball bat to investigate. There was so much crime in the city. We never had this problem in the village. What if there was more than one burglar? But it was only Luke. You scared the farts right out of me.
Oh, great. Just what I need. A damsel in distress.
I'm the one holding the bat, smart Alec, and I was always the brave one while you were scared of your own shadow.
I sure was a coward back then. Remember that time you couldn't sleep and you made me push all those sheep from a fence so you could count them?
They were goats, and Farmer Jack was so mad.
He made us shovel horse poop for weeks.
You have to admit, it was fun pretending to be my friend.
I was never pretending.
He looked at me like there was so much he wanted to tell me, but he couldn't.
The Omen 16 laptop. I can game on the go on the highest settings on the latest GPU. I can hit it with my hardest work and it'll always stay cool and
Couldn't. His lips were so close and my heart beat like crazy. I wanted him to say more, but I also wanted him to shut up and kiss me. But Luke pulled away suddenly, looking angry.
Forget it. You won't understand.
Had I almost kissed my best friend's boyfriend? What was wrong with me? It was a good thing we were moving out in a few days anyway. On our last day in the house, Mr. and Mrs. Durand held a farewell party for us. They invited all their friends, including Bella and her parents, and held a mini promotion of our little grocery store and even showed my videos on a big screen. Luke looked handsome in a suit, but I had to look away. I still felt guilty about the other night and confused by his hot and cold attitude. But suddenly, he was standing right in front of me.
Hey, wanna dance? I shouldn't. Why? Do you think you'll trip and fall?
No.
Then come on.
He whirled me onto the dance floor, and I felt like I was dancing on air. It was magical and thrilling. Then his lips came close, and all the voices in my head fell silent, but the music suddenly stopped.
Luke, what are you doing? Bella's parents are watching.
You should be dancing with her, not...
The poor grocery girl?
Yes. Sophia can't bring you any connections or wealth. I'm sorry, dear, but we have to think of Luke's future, and that is with Bella. I was so shocked my mouth fell open. My parents were furious.
Is this how you feel about us? Why did you invite us to stay with you? Why throw us this party? Because they want to rub in your faces how rich they are now. They always envied you, and they didn't throw you this party. Bella and I did.
It was all Luke's idea. He's been planning this party for weeks. I just helped with the decorations. Suddenly, all the guests left saying they were disgusted, and Mr. and Mrs. Durand looked panicked. What's going on? I'm so confused.
Let me explain. When we were kids, I loved being your friend. You were awesome and brave, but my parents wanted to cash in on that friendship and started charging your parents for protection services. I hated it. We did it for you, son, so you could have everything rich kids had. I never wanted any of that. And even here in the city, you insisted I date rich girls so you can make connections with their parents. You two have always used me for your own gain, and I'm sick of it.
And look what it got you. You have luxury cars, you live in a mansion.
But I can't be with the girl I love.
I thought you two were in love. I'm a cheerleader and he's a jock. We had to date. It's like in the Bible or something. But we were never in love. And when I saw how much you two loved each other, you knew? Always. Why do you think I kept leaving you two alone when we hung out? You two are super cute together.
Can you ever forgive me for being such a jerk and not getting in touch sooner? I thought you hated me.
I did, but only because I missed you so much.
I'm never gonna leave you now.
Me either. Best friends?
The bestest.
And he kissed me, and it was everything I'd imagined.
Anyways, I guess that's all for today.
The one thing big brands don't tell you about meeting marketing goals.
Bye.